This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Kingston Public Hospital's main operating theater closed after being flooded. Surgeries shifted elsewhere. Surgeries scheduled for the main operating theater at the accident and emergency ward at Kingston Public Hospital have been relocated after the facility was flooded on Saturday. The Southeast Regional Health Authority said the flooding was due to a malfunction in valve which regulates the water pressure. This resulted in excessive water pressure in the pipes, the agency reported. Errol Green, Regional Director of the Southeast Regional Health Authority, told the news that work was being done to restore normality within a short order. He added that special arrangements have been made for surgical procedures to be conducted at other health facilities, including the adjoining Victoria Jubilee Hospital, should the need arise.
We brought in a team early in the morning to resolve the problem. The problem has been fixed, and the team is on site at the KPH doing mopping up operations and drying out, and the electricians are there going through to ensure the safety. As of Saturday evening, accident and emergency was relocated to another area of the hospital. The services are not at 100%, but we're doing our best to deal with the situation, and we are working feverishly to dry up, to mop up, to swab, to ensure that there's no more growth or anything like that. And we expect to be back in full operation within short order. We have several operating theaters at the hospital, and we've made arrangements with the Victoria Jubilee and with other hospitals within the region should the need arise. We expect because again, it is subject to drying out and swabbing to ensure that there's no more growth, and infection control is at its best. So we have to ensure that everything is okay before we can start operating in the operating theaters and go back to full service.
Opposition warns of untold cost in future litigation arising from SOE judgment. Opposition spokesperson on justice Donna Scott Motley has expressed the view that the government might have exposed the taxpayers to the possibility of paying millions of dollars to citizens who were unlawfully detained under the states of emergency. The Supreme Court ruled on Friday that taxi operator Rasheen Clark's fundamental rights were violated when he was unlawfully detained under the 2018 state of public emergency in St. James. He was awarded nearly $18 million in damages. Senator Scott Motley said in an interview with the news on Saturday morning that the monetary award points to the magnitude of the state's potential liability, where thousands of young people could become claimants in similar cases at a cost that would become borne by the Jamaican taxpayers.
The opposition has long maintained that the way in which government has made use of the states of the emergencies is unconstitutional. And we have seen where the government has said that it intends to use it as a crime-fighting tool. Now, the ruling in Rasheen Clark has vindicated us, and indeed the court has found that the regulations have so contravened Mr. Clark's rights, his fundamental right to liberty, to freedom, as well as others, that they have awarded substantial damages of $17.8 million. That must be of concern to the taxpayers of this country, because that it is that unconstitutional use of power which has caused this burden now to be placed on them.
Chinese farm store robbed in Santa Cruz. Police have launched a manhunt for two men following an armed robbery at a Chinese-operated farm store in Santa Cruz on Saturday. Head of the St. Elizabeth Police Superintendent Dwight Daly told the news that about 10 a.m., the men, one armed with a firearm, held up the store and took an undetermined sum of money. He said the robbers also held up a motorcyclist and took his motorcycle. They abandoned the motorcycle at a certain section of the town where it is believed that a motor car was waiting for them. We are now conducting a series of operations in search of these men, Daly said. He is appealing to anyone with information that can assist the police in their investigation to contact 119, the police emergency number 311, Crime Stop, or the nearest police station. SOE reaping success in St. Catherine, says police. The police are reporting success within the first 36 hours of the declaration of the state of public emergency in the parish of St. Catherine. According to a release from the Jamaica Constabulary Forces Communications Unit, 2 firearms, a submachine gun and a revolver were seized during the operations within the first 36 hours of the SOE. 3 wanted men were also apprehended, 2 for sexual offenses and the other for murder. Also in the parish on Saturday, a police team seized 1 firearm with a magazine and 3 9mm rounds of ammunition during an operation on Valdez Road. Reports are that about 4:30 p.m., lawmen were in the area when 1 Intratec submachine gun, 1 magazine and 3 9mm rounds of ammunition were found under an old truck. No one was arrested in relation to the seizure. The investigation is ongoing. Crime triggers increase in shooting range training. The proliferation of crime in the country has resulted in a sharp uptick in licensed gun holders going to Woodley Shooting Range in Maypen, Clarendon for firearm competence training. Howard Brown, the owner of the range, told the news that the clients have been coming in, especially on a Sunday. He said what they have been relating is that they need to brush up on their shooting skills so that if the need to defend themselves arises, criminals will not hold an advantage over them. What we are seeing now is an upsurge in persons attending the range. And this is not new, and I am not surprised because over the years, as the crime situation starts to escalate and the people feel it's reaching closer to home, so to speak, they will be interested in coming to the range just to increase their skill levels or maintain a certain level of competence. It's most definitely so. The track record speaks for itself, Brown stated. We are seeing that now. The numbers have increased since the start of the year, and especially female licensed firearm holders are getting involved. We are now seeing a lot of activity as it relates to persons coming and wanting to practice. So the males are the dominant gender, but we are seeing an increase in the number of female licensed firearm holders now who are coming and wanting to get that training done, he added. Statistics from the Firearm Licensing Authority reveal that over the past 5 years, 8,278 applicants were granted firearm license. Of that number, 898 were female and 7,380 males. Apart from the Jamaica Rifle Association and the Jamaica Skeet Club, which are members-only clubs, Woodley Shooting Range is the oldest public shooting range in the island. The range is known for the annual Emancipation Pistol Championship, which had its first staging in 2011. Brown, also a certified range operator, told the news that the clients visiting for training frequently share their concerns about the crime situation. Some of them know they are not competent because they have not been visiting the range as they should, he said. We live on an island and it is smaller than we think it is because you know somebody who is related to somebody, or you know somebody who is used to going to school with somebody. So once a crime happens down the road, or it happens in the neighborhood, or just if it's too much in general, people get that fear factor, he said. Brown said even during the curfew hours imposed as part of the government's COVID-19 containment measures between 2020 and 2022, people were still showing up at the range. In 2020, there were 1,323 murders recorded across the country. The following year, 1,463. During the pandemic, we were on and off. The attendance fluctuated because we had a lockdown on some Sundays. That hindered the range activities because most persons find the Sunday as a better day to actually come to the range. And when you have a complete lockdown, the range is dead. And then we moved to a curfew and we had to close off by midday to give persons enough time to go back home. But the flip side to that is that persons came out during that period because, of course, after the lockdown in the week as well, persons just wanted to come out and relax and do some recreational stuff. The ranger got good support, he said. Brown told the news that he advises firearm holders to get the necessary training. Shooting is a perishable skill. If you don't use it, you lose it. You lose that muscle memory. The subconscious is not being tuned. I always encourage persons to do so. If you don't even come to the range, you need to be doing dry fire practice with the empty gun, he said. Pulling it from your waist and indexing a target with the empty gun, You don't need to fire. As for that, you will need to go to a range, so to speak. You can do that in your own time in a safe area. But it's not just anyone who can walk into Woodley, he warned, as only certified firearm holders are allowed. Further, the FLA stipulates that shooting ranges should obtain a range operator license, which authorizes the holder to operate a range for firearm training, recreational and sporting events. Applicants interested in applying for a range operator license must be licensed firearm holders. The FLA is a governing body. It is the authority that governs firearms and ammunition in the country, which is supervised by the Ministry of National Security. At Woodley's, we only allow you to enter the facility and conduct firearm handling if you have a licensed firearm with an updated certificate, Brown said. Your certificate must be renewed on a yearly basis. If it is not current, then we require you to have one, and that is through paying your fee of $12,000 to the FLA and having your certificate of a pre-approved letter from the FLA stating that you're in good standing and need training to prepare you for a competence examination. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.